Who's been to a toxicity workshop here before? Anyone? Oh, it's all newbies. All right. So I've done this probably a half dozen or a dozen times. Not this workshop, but something similar on toxicity, because I think we can all agree in the last 10, 20, 50, 100 years, are we more or less toxic as a society? More toxic, right? Right? And we can go back, we can look at the food that we're eating, right? Is it more or less nutritious, right? We can look at the stuff that we're slathering all over ourselves. We're going to go over 5 or 6 different categories of where the toxins are really increasing in our lives, at least most of our lives, including mine. And then it's kind of like anything else in life. We've done nutrition talks here. We're having a heart disease type of workshop next month. And I do the workshops almost every single year, but then, it's kind of like anything else. It's like going to church. Like you kind of like backslide for a while, and then, oh yeah, okay, and then I'm going to get better at this part. And you're doing pretty good, and then, something falls off, and then, okay, I need to focus on this a little bit better. That's really my hope and my goal for you guys, is that maybe you can just take one thing, 2 things. Maybe you're that person that you can just radically switch, but maybe it's a great reinforcement for you. But whatever it is that you walk out of here and the information is useless without action, right? Because, and then every moment, every minute that you get away from here, it just kind of like falls, life gets in the way. So I encourage you, whatever you do, find something. You can say, oh, most of that's rubbish, but this, I'm going to take away this, and I'm going to do this at home tonight. I'm going to do this at home tomorrow. So like immediate implementation, this is where my mentors, the people that I've just seen super successful in different areas of their life, whatever that area was, they were like immediate implementers. And so I have a great chiropractic mentor, and like when he had his coaches, or if you're an athlete, when you have your coaches, like go for it, 2 feet, jump into the deep end and just get going on it. And those are the people that really get the best results. So we're going to talk about spring clean. I had this idea of, going with a camera. This is just not COVID friendly right now, but going with a camera and going into my house or one of you guys' houses and just kind of going through some commonly found toxic items, and then the things that we can like relatively simply kind of alter or switch them for. So we're going to go through some of that today. Dr. B is going to help, and we're going to kind of co-teach this. Interaction is encouraged. So if you have a question, or hey, I do this, what do you think of this? Or I found this to be really helpful. What do you guys think? I think that's helpful, because I think we're all trying to learn and grow together, right? Cool. So without further ado, it goes without being said, we just have so many toxins in our food, in our water, in our air, in all of our environment. I think you guys saw the little video I posted on Facebook. The indoor environment is less or more toxic than the outdoor environment.
Why is that?
More. And it's, we have like 18 fans in this place, but it's kind of like the same air-ish, right? And all the stuff that we use to clean. You guys see us, we have one person just cleaning all the time, right? And so that all the time, that stuff is in the air, whether you like it or not, right? And some could say, well, some of those risks outweigh the benefits. That's an individual decision that you have to make, right? But indoor environment, they found 5 to 100 times more toxic than the outside environment. So what are we talking about today? Food, your water, your environment, your cosmetics, ladies, maybe gentlemen, hopefully ladies, cleaners, and containers, right? And so these are some of the big ones. We're going to kind of break these up into what it is, what's bad, and then some things that we could do that maybe are a little bit better, right? Some actionables. And then again, taking that action is super important. My goal, of course, is that everyone's out of here before 7 o'clock tonight. So just shoot some things out here. What are some things that you guys might think are symptoms of toxicity?
Headaches.
For sure. That's a big one.
Allergies.
100%, right? Allergies.
Diabetes.
Maybe, yeah. If you're talking autoimmune, I could go with that. Yeah. The thing is, we're always looking for that one cause and that one solution, that one cure. It's not. It's multifactorial, because if you're working out 8 days a week and you're drinking lots of water and you have a good sleep routine and your thoughts and great relationships, but you're eating McDonald's every single day, that's a chink in the armor. That's a weak link, right? And so that might lead to some of the other problems that might not even be associated with bad eating, right? It's just because that's going to be your weak link. So we named a few of them from mood, right? For sure, the headaches. That's one that I think most people get right away. Dr. B was telling the story earlier. We'll kind of get into the vomiting, nausea, and the sickness there. Memory loss and cancer as well, though. I mean, we know that most cancers have a toxicity component to them, right? And so this is a big deal. And you know, we do a cancer workshop. And what's a chiropractor talking about cancer? Well, the fact is, we know that sugar feeds cancer, right? We can all agree on that. Sugar feeds cancer. Cancer cells have more receptors for glucose. Sugar feeds cancer, period. In fact, they do a PET scan. What do? Inject you with radioactive glucose, goes to the hot spots, right? And then we can see where that, you know, typically where that cancer's at, right? But yet, you go to the hospital with cancer, and what kind of food are they giving you? Oh, huh, that's interesting. Right, they're feeding you the same stuff that's promoting the stuff that they're trying to kill. It's like this sick cycle, right? And we see this over and over again, and this is not bashing doctors or nurses. Again, that it's just, it's a bad system. And you know, we can also play follow the money, but it's a bad system that doesn't really lead to great results in that way. So I'm going to move along. So throughout this, we'll kind of talk about exiting conventional. Chiropractors are weird. We're definitely weirdos here. We are not the norm. And so this conventional norm that everyone, you know, I love convenience. I am innately lazy sometimes when I want to get a deodorant real quick or a hair product or, you know, whatever, or food. Man, I was telling these guys, I was a dollar menu king, right? Before my wife, we married for almost 14 years now, but that was, it was quick, it was fast, I worked a lot, and so I was like, I don't have time to prepare, I'm gonna go stop at the dollar menu, and if I can get something for $4, there's no way I'm spending $10, right? And so, boom, I do that, and it just wasn't a whole lot of forethought, and you know, my parents always cooked home meals before, and I was like, I can't spend the time, and I'm definitely not gonna spend the money, so what do? Obviously, we gotta kind of outgrow some of those weird thoughts, right? You guys are probably looking at me like, well, what an idiot, right? The same could be said maybe at different aspects of life, whether it be the type of makeup you use or the cleaners that you use or how you cook your food and the stuff that you cook your food in, right? You know, it's not about perfection, but it's about moving towards a certain direction, right? And that's what we're trying to go for here. So exiting conventional is what the TV tells you it is, right? It's what most of the people are doing. And so if you look at most of the people, what are they cooking their eggs in these days? Well, you know, they might do the spray on Pam, or they might use margarine still, and they're gonna use those Teflon coated, easy to wash, easy to clean pans, right? And so while it might be easy and convenient and now conventional, it's not probably the best thing for you. And we'll go into that in a minute. So let's go over some of these cleaners. Dr. B, you wanna hit up the disinfectants?
Oh yes. So, hand sanitizers. Let's just start with that. Who's used more of that in the last year and a half than they have their entire
No one's ever
life?
seen one of these before, have they? What is
Oh,
this? I
man.
don't even know what this is, right? So go into those things.
Fragrances, colors of it. All, you know, it's usually clear or green. Sometimes there's other colors too, as far as the hand sanitizer. But as far as disinfectants go, you know, there's purple, there's red, there's yellow, all sorts of different colors for cleaning the house, right? Fragrances, unless it's smelling like a flower and made from the flower, it's not natural. Okay? It's a synthetically made, derived fragrance. Okay, colors. Unfortunately, lead is, maybe not with disinfectants, but with other things that will go into, you know, makeups and other things that are tangible and make you can paint with, kind of like makeup on your face. Lead is the huge contributing underlying ingredient for colors,
for your
especially in makeup. 95% of cosmetics. So that's not natural. Okay. Propylene glycol. What's that? Who can tell me what that's usually in?
Where else would you find propylene glycol?
Come on, you automotive geniuses. No. Antifreeze.
Antifreeze.
Okay, so is antifreeze
is that safe
good
to
for
drink?
us, or would it kill us? Ding,
Right.
ding, ding, ding. It will kill you. Do not drink it.
Yeah, well, your pet's near it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, these are all things that we've all heard the precautions from, right? So, like,
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
bad
that'd
for
be
you
bad.
too. Definitely. So you can get that on your skin. You can get, an irritation. You can get sick. Okay, definitely. My friend had some leak. He's a mechanic. He had some leak under him. He didn't know it while he was under a car. And then the next day he was super sick with this sore throat. He's like, I was feeling awesome. And it's like, oh, I was in propylene glycol for hours. So what is this in? First 3 or 4 ingredients.
It could be the second ingredient
several. Second one even.
in your standard hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
So,
So-
it pays to pay attention to the ingredients.
So good for you? No,
No.
not good.
So, what can we do about it? Everyone, I know y'all have your phones. So, what can we do about it? If you guys scan your phone, you know how like everyone's doing the menus these days. If you scan your phone, it's going to bring you up to ewg.org, Environmental Working Group, and so you're going to get some better alternatives to your standard stuff and junk that you see everywhere. If you've heard me talk and speak before, I've talked about the Clean 15 versus the Dirty Dozen. This is the same group or company that kind of updates those every year, every other year, that type of thing, right? So when I read the ingredients on this this particular one, which I can almost bet that we've all seen this one, right, somewhere, someplace. We have
Big pyramid as you enter
oh
the
my
store.
goodness, yeah. So it's number 5 on this one: water, carbomer, glycerin, propylene glycol, fragrance, and then blue number 1. I don't even know where the and then yellow number 5. Of course, that makes green. Yeah, not great, right? Not great for you. So before this whole craziness, this is what I used to have. We used to, carry this in the car, have my wife's purse, that type of thing. I'm not subscribing. This is Dr. Bronner's, if you're just curious, but I'm seeing, I think like doTERRA makes some. In fact, I have some of the doTERRA stuff, and On Guard. There's a few other good ones with very simple ingredients. So this is like the tiniest print in the world, of course. But what do we have in here for ingredients? I just read it this morning. Where are we at? Hold on. There we go. Organic ethyl alcohol, water, organic glycerin, and then organic lavender oil. Pretty simple, right? I've seen them also made out of oregano oil, also a natural antimicrobial, right? And so there's a lot of great things that you can do if you subscribe to using this on the regular, besides going with something like this. And so, yes, this might be $1 at the dollar store or whatever nowadays. This might be $2 or $3. Spend the extra $1 or $2, right? It's just totally worth it. Eric.
How about some of these pain creams like Bengay and capsaicin?
Those are 2 different things.
Well, it can be harmful.
So that brings up a great point. Yeah, it can be harmful because,
Because I use it on my feet.
right, so your skin is one of your largest organs, right? And so it absorbs through your skin. I know we don't sometimes think about that, but like the general rule of thumb when I talk about this stuff today and Dr. B's talking is think about, can I eat this? Like I can spray this in my mouth and it's not going to taste good, but I'm not going to die and I don't have to call poison control or go to the ER, right? Where this one, right? And I don't want my 3-year-old drinking this stuff, right? Not good. And so again, we got to think about, and sure, 1 cigarette doesn't kill you. But how many times have you slathered this on your hand over the last 13 months, 14 months?
It'll hurt you.
Right? Toxic bioaccumulation. And that's what we're kind of talking about. So if that's an easy one that you can switch, do it. If that's not your thing, stick with it. Let's talk about something else, right? So we're just going to keep on moving on. So cosmetics. We're going to have Loxy talk about this, but we can go through this. So
Not my area. I was like, you know what? I have a lot to learn from this too. So.
this is tough. Dudes don't typically wear a lot of makeup. I mean, there's not much that I put on my skin except for lotion, which is, we'll talk about, it's coconut oil. So it's pretty easy. Women, sometimes it's the cultural norm to wear certain things on your face, right? And sometimes it goes beyond the face, right? So, Dr. B, you want to go over some cosmetic stuff?
Yeah,
And again,
for sure.
if you do have your phone, this would be a great one also So that if you do that, it'll pop up, and that screen pop up at ewg.org. I tested it earlier today, so it should work.
So cosmetics, lots, like I said before, lots of different chemicals in there, lots of harmful chemicals in there. Some of the things that we have, formaldehyde can be in here. We have lots of different heavy metals, okay? I forgot all the
Where's
different
my old
ones.
list?
It's like bromide and formaldehyde and
Phthalo? I think it's not thalidomide. That's the stuff that was causing children to have those little flipper arms. But
lots of preservatives. Yeah, I mean, conventionally there's 70,000 chemicals used. Now we're not going to go over all 70,000. We'll go over a few here, but in all sorts of things, cosmetics, food, cleaners, toxins that we're exposed to every day. As you saw on the first slide or second slide, it's like over 2 million on average that we're exposed to every day.
So think about this when it comes to makeup. And again, I'm not a girl. I don't claim to be an expert in this. But if we have different products that we use on a regular basis, maybe it's under the eye or eyeshadow, maybe it's lipstick. Think about how much you're actually putting on versus maybe like coating your entire face on with what is that called, foundation, right? And so if you are a foundation person, that one might be the one that you're like putting on the most surface area. You got to make your ideal switch, right? And I get it. Makeup's not necessarily cheap to begin with, and then when I was doing some research on this, one of the ladies that was teaching us, she was saying that even stuff 3 years ago that was like a great brand and I could consistently use them. What's happening is that a lot of these guys that were good 3, 5, 10 years ago, if they were good, then the big guys would literally snatch them up and make them like a sub brand. And unfortunately, that same name couldn't be trusted anymore, because what happens, now we have the same product, or not the same product, the same name, and they're cutting the corners to try to run it through the processing faster. And so you end up with the same kind of yucky products with maybe a few good ingredients, but they're cutting enough corners where it's not any good thing anymore. So that's why using this ewg.org, it really staying up to date with that. It's something that you're putting on your skin regularly. That's a worthwhile investment of time, right? So it doesn't take long. You can see if your favorite brand, where they rank among that list in there, and I think that'd be a good use of your time if it's something that you're putting on every day. Now, again, if you're just using some eyeliner, then maybe it's worth the extra couple bucks to do it. Maybe obviously you can have an argument with someone about whether you should wear makeup at all or not, right? I mean, that's not what I'm not putting a stake in the ground on that argument. I'm just saying you got to pick your own battle and what's important to you, and then again, the more surface area that you're covering, then you want that to be the least amount toxic for yourself, right? So let's talk about this stuff. So commonly referred to as Teflon, and so anyone know a friend that might have had those in their pans before? Right? The old non-stick pans. And so we know it's been told this stuff is bad. And it chips off, and you see those pans, they have like all those little nick marks all over the place. And again, this lady was talking, she's like, my mom still has the same pan that we cooked us breakfast with 30 years ago, and like half it's scraped off, and Dad's like, well, it's all scraped off now, so we should be good, right? No, it's not good. So what are some great alternatives than Teflon, or for Teflon pans, for a cooking pan? Awesome. Yeah, that's personally what I have. Cast iron. What's another one? Stainless steel would be good as well. And again, are they sometimes as convenient as our Teflon? Well, the ceramic's pretty good. I found the ceramic to be, because I've played around with a few ones. The ceramic seems to be pretty good at doing most things, but they're not the cheapest either, right? And so you gotta. It's been my favorite, but it's not the cheapest. And so
Enamel.
what's that?
How about enamel?
So what is the enamel?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, usually when it's a coating, probably not.
I think if you're using the same pan all the time, rather than replace all, if you're always using such.
Most of us do, right?
Replace
Right, or the one that you use, right? I mean, I think one of the ones we got, yeah, it was like $100 or something like that, or $125. But we just always use it, and so you can you can feel it has some heft to it, but it's something that we just Emily spent the money and my wife spent the money on it, and I was like, what the heck? That cost that much? And yeah, but it was from a trustworthy source that we could get that we were gonna use it regularly, right?
And the big ingredient in Teflon is this polytetrafluoroethylene. Say that 20 times, or even twice. Is found where? What are you guys wearing right now? Some of you.
Especially these ones.
The disposable face
So,
mask.
this was also came out in a Canada study too. I think you guys probably, if you guys are online at all, they were kind of blasting that. So is it all mask? Of course it's not. But especially the single-use ones that they've very quickly made, cutting every corner possible. Yes. And so just be careful what you use. Now, you guys know me. I personally have been using this like silver one. We know silver is also an antimicrobial. You've seen several people use this. I've had nurses and people that work in the hospitals use this same one as well. I have a pilot who also uses this same one. No issues, no problems whatsoever. So, and even if you want to do, a cloth in that, whatever you choose to do, be careful on that one. Especially if you find yourself like us, having to wear it for extended hours every single day, breathing in that crap, no bueno, right? And then what do we start to see with some of these things? I mean, some of these common symptoms that we're all seeing over and over and over again. So we talk about this. Woo! So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my dad under the bus on this one, and probably everybody's grandma, because I know Grandma Carol, my wife's grandma, any used plastic container whatsoever, there's actually a whole cabinet full of them, and then you take those out, and then you put the leftover food in there, you put them in the fridge, and then you heat them up in the microwave, and then you reserve that again, and that's how you ration the meals. What do you guys think? Good idea or a bad idea? Oh, yeah, muy malo. Yes, ma'am.
Another one is water bottles that you leave in your car.
Oh, yes.
Summer and then drink them.
110 degree heat, boom. I want to say it's especially bad for the hormonal things with women, or men and that matter for that matter, but yeah, no bueno, right? Again, I know you see Dr. B carrying his gallon jug around all over the place. There's definitely some better alternatives. Same thing with this. You'll see it all the time on sale, glass ones. I make it a very strong point to not use the microwave at my house. If you ask Loxie, if you ask my wife, I'm kind of annoying about that, but I want my food heated up on the pan. Are there occasions where, like, we replaced our oven this year, I didn't get a microwave. It was one of those combo deals that go into the wall. I got a double oven, and then I got a crappy little microwave because my dad likes to heat up the hot water real fast or whatever, but not a fan of microwaves. Many places, they don't use them at all. They're not good for you, but you add microwaves and plastic, it's like a super no bueno, right? Not good for you. And so just a word to the warning, that's an easy one. So you choose your battle, right? But if I'm hitting a nerve, then I probably found something that maybe it's time to, maybe I can make that a little bit better, right? So I'm not pointing fingers. I'm guilty just as many as probably as you guys are at any of these things. So obviously plastic wrap, the grocery bags, I mean, do we even see those very much anymore? I don't even have to see those anymore. I remember 5-10 years ago, we had a ton of those in the house. We had a ton of storage of those things. And nowadays, I think it's like all paper or like reusable ones, right? Or maybe it's just how we do it, but.
I have like that.
And then Costco.
I have like 10 in my bag. For you.
Oh yeah.
And washable.
Yeah, I don't think we even have one in the house right now. It's weird that there's not as prevalent, but that used to be a thing, right? Water. What do you think when we talk about the water in our, especially the tap water, right? It's hard not to make you feel guilty on this, but let's just say if you're drinking out of tap water, that'd be an one thing that you'd want to fix pretty quickly, and you can do it pretty inexpensively. So, Dr. B, why don't you talk about what you did recently?
Lots of lots of plastics are also found in water. As water is getting recycled, if you think about that too long, it's gross. Okay, but lots and lots of plastics are found in water, and then we're ingesting it, and then our body's trying to, hey, what do I do with this? And then it's throwing us off hormonally.
It's toxic bioaccumulation.
Yeah, neurotoxins. Okay. Recently, what I did, we have been in our house for a year now, and I just kind of, like most of the patients that come in here, they say, well, I've got this problem, I just push through it. So it's like, the water doesn't taste like it, but I push through it. Of course, my wife says, no. This is not good for us. Tastes bad. It probably isn't good for us if it tastes bad. So let's do something different. So let's buy a filtration. So I went with the reverse osmosis. There's some controversy with that. But it's taking basically everything out of the water. So yes, you need to supplement some other things in, some iron and lots of other good supplementation going on there. But it's also taking out all the trash, all the toxins. 4 hours later, it's like, hey, this should only take an hour. 4 hours later, I finally got it installed, and still working like a charm though. Happy wife, happy life now, so we're good. But seriously, happy family. I mean, we're all getting rid, depleting ourselves of the toxins that are found in, unfortunately, our water. And the list goes on and on and on of all the different chemicals that are in our water. Let's supplement with this. Let's supplement with that. Let's do this. Yeah, but that's also a neurotoxin. That's also it can accumulate in certain areas in our brain. Heavy metals. Okay. No big deal. Yes, big deal. Okay. All sorts of issues in right now and then in the future as well as our body.
From everything that I'm finding in fetal cord blood, and that's, imagine what we all have, right? And so this stuff, it's toxic bioaccumulation, which again, no one here is perfect, but if you're gonna hedge your bets, let's start moving in the right direction, right? And so, does anyone here have a whole home water filtration system? 2, 3? Water softener? Is it a filter? And reverse. So 3
Just a little filter on
on
the.
the.
I don't want any change.
In one of them. So I know again. I talk about some. We have done that to our house. We've also moved like 13 times in 13 and a half years of marriage. But that's kind of on my list because it's not just what you drink, right? And so in fact, some could even say that it's worse taking a shower. Because you have that conventional water coming on at you with everybody else, flushes down their hormones and everyone's on birth control and the average American's on X amount of pharmaceuticals. All that is, and many of them just dump down the toilet anyhow. So you have all that going in. It's not being all filtered out. It's not. So it's getting in you. You add heat and moisture on your skin for 15 minutes. No bueno, right? And so. Oh yeah. And you're breathing it in, right? You're inhaling it into your lungs, absorbing it, right? So not good. So the better and best alternative, if you know you're be at your place for a while, that's it. And those things, even amongst themselves, they run the gamut, right? So there's a lot that you can do, but how cool is that to go into every faucet in your house, having that good stuff pouring on you? So whether you're brushing your teeth, or you're taking a shower, or you're just filling it up out of the kitchen sink,
Taking a bath,
right?
soaking in it.
It's all the good stuff. So I know several people that have done that, and I can point you individually if you guys need some resources on that of where to go. But again, there's some better systems and there's some not as good systems. So just before you're gonna spend that kind of time and money and energy, do a little research on that. Right now, many of you guys have seen in here before, I brought it in before, is we use a Berkey. Does anyone know what a Berkey is? Okay, so $200, $300, something like that. We change out the filters, I don't know, every couple months. And it's just a gravity-fed filtration system, quite thorough. It is one of the better ones on there on the market right now, and you can. I think it does 2 or 3 gallons, I think, and so we usually fill it almost every day. We fill it up and then we drink all the water and we use it for. Yes, I drink coffee in the morning. I use it for my coffee in the morning and everything. So we do most of our consumable water out of the Berkey filter, and so it's a pain in the butt because I still got to fill it up. Whereas that's going to be your longer term, but that's an easy one, and I can move and I can travel with it, and I brought it here, and it's easy and portable. And if if you want to kind of tip your toes into this, it's something that you could buy pretty inexpensively. Eric,
What's wrong drinking alkaline water?
nothing is wrong with drinking alkaline water. My caution to that, and I enjoy that as well. There's different systems for that, right? I would caution you. There's a few times throughout the day that you would not want to drink alkaline water. When would that be?
In the morning,
Not necessarily.
before going to bed.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
When you eat.
Sometimes it's when they're.
When you eat, right? Because alkaline water, by definition, is a higher pH, right? And so your stomach is one of the places you'll find in your body that has an extremely low pH. And so if you already have digestive issues and you're chugging alkaline water, that food is not going to digest as well, right? So that'd be a time not to have that alkaline water.
But a bottle or so of it a day is
Oh yeah,
it's great water.
100%.
How about spring water, natural spring water?
Again, where's your source?
Yeah,
Uh,
right,
yeah,
Like spring water from in the mountains, like Arrowhead water.
well, again, it's Arrowhead water that's been sitting in the Arrowhead plastic container for.
And they
Uh,
can't.
Yeah.
I think again, good, better, best, right? So may or may not be better than tap water, but maybe that's heading in the right direction. So food. This is not a food workshop. We have plenty of those here as well. But some of the big ones, MSG. Raise your hand if you get a kind of reaction when you consume either on purpose or inadvertently some MSG. So those that raise your hand, like myself, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise. It's kind of like the people, raise your hand if you have a symptom or a warning sign when you consume a type of fake sugar, like aspartame. A couple of us, okay. And so think of that as being actually a blessing because these are not good for you. MSG is not just in Chinese food. It's in virtually every kind of pre-packaged product. It is in everything, and unfortunately, it is under every single name. And so, from hydrolyzed yeast extract to spices, our government allows them to put it under a variety of different names. You can look it up. It's crazy. So if you don't know what's actually in that product, probably that's and like for me, I love barbecue. I know barbecue sauce isn't good for me. When I do it, if I have it more than one day in a row, I will break out in a rash, typically along my forearm. Weird, I know. But I can tell you if something has MSG or not. It's like an MSG detector. And so some people with aspartame, they have one Diet Coke or something with aspartame in it. Maybe it's a protein powder that has aspartame in it or something like that, right? Usually those are the cheaper kind. And boom, they start getting their headaches. Their migraines start flaring up, right?
Running this on your tongue too.
Yeah, no good, right? And so there's been a lot of different studies that you can look at. These are all things that we want to avoid as much as possible. Any questions on these?
One question about olive oil. You got refined oils. Is that
So that's a tough one because
another source one?
yeah, it is another source one because some people would say like 80+% of the olive oil that we find here isn't like the olive oil that you would get in Italy, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like it's a you thing. We use coconut oil for just about everything or butter. Yes, I use butter, but those are kind of our two things that we cook with.
Typically, anything that's natural, as far as an oil goes, it's like okay, let's go with that. So, extra virgin olive oil, cold, compressed, no heating or any type of.
The first pressing, not the
Yeah.
13th press, where they
You
get
can take a
everything
bunch
all
of
last.
olives and put it in a cheesecloth and squeeze it. You're gonna get oil out of it. Okay, might not look all pretty because it's going through lots of filters.
So
you know,
how
to
much
get
oil
it-
are you gonna get out of a corn cob?
Yeah. Okay. Corn oil, canola oil. Who
Not,
knows what
not a
canola,
lot.
Who knows what a canola seed looks like? It is a tiny little black seed.
Actually, does a canola seed exist? They're called rape seeds, but that's not very easily marketable. So they went with canola, which stands for Canada Oil Low Acid. A little
Yeah,
strange
so
fact.
there's some black to beautiful shiny gold.
Which is for those of us who used to like Whole Foods. I don't like them anymore, but they are like, oh yeah, I gotta get my good stuff here. And then what do they cook all of their stuff in? They put so much canola oil in just about everything. That's like their thing. I don't know if they have like a deal with a canola manufacturer or something, but it's like in every single one of their products. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
watch How It's Made sometime. There's that How It's Made show, canola oil. You'll think twice.
Yeah, it might be good for like running your car engine, but probably not to put in your engine. And then, anyone here have a garden at home? Well, from little to ginormous, right? And so we've been playing around with this, and man, it is so much fun. And then you get the real food, and it's really coming up. And there's something about like, being less wasteful too, right? And so like we only have 3 kale plants. 2 are like up and ready, and so like. I'm gonna cut off for my smoothie just the ones that I'm gonna eat that morning, right? And then I eat them, and it's almost like a different way of thinking when you go to sometimes you go to the store, you're like, just like, I'm gonna grab one of those, I'm gonna get one of these, and it's like, you kind of just get it versus different way. What this is talking about though is, I think we talked about it at the very beginning, 100 years ago, look at the soil content, right? Now we have refarmed and then put in all the fake stuff, right? And then refarmed it again, right? And so it's just not the same type of food. An apple today is not equal in nutrients to an apple of 50 years ago or 100 years ago, right? I mean, we're like going on like 8 different varieties compared to like hundreds of varieties or maybe even thousands, right? So things have really changed.
Hey,
that
but
way.
Miracle Grow makes it really big.
Yeah, just like the tumors in your intestines too, right?
Yeah.
So we've been hammering the bioaccumulation because it's not one of these, it's all of these, right? And so which one are maybe you have the hardest time with? And then maybe which one is easiest for you to fix right now, right? Tweak a little bit, improve a little bit, enhance a little bit, move in the right direction. So that way, when you guys come back here next April, you're like, ever since that workshop last time, I got that reverse osmosis, or I got that Brita filter, so I've been doing good in that. So this year I'm ready to make that next step, right? And so we do the same thing with our allergy workshop. Maybe you tried this last year, hey, you know what? We're doing the shot of apple cider vinegar, but now this year, I thought it was gross, but I'm gonna do it. The yellow snow's falling. I want to play outside this weekend, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick my nose with coconut oil, right? Save yourself, right? We just recently you guys see that we have a humidifier in here, right? Adding moisture to the linings of our mucous membranes so they're less irritated. So this time of year, hopefully, we're gonna have a little less allergy symptoms in here. Maybe you should do that same thing at your house, right? So that we're taking steps in this same direction, right? As a community, right? So that way next year we're a little smarter, a little wiser, a little better, and then we've already kind of earned and gained some of those good habits over time, and we're ready to take on that next one, right? So that way, 10 years from now, we're better human beings, right? That's kind of the big goal with what we do on these type of workshops. So, mindset. Go ahead, Dr. B.
Okay. When I think of
Think toxic mindset. What do you think?
mindset. Who remembers when it used to be the 5 o'clock news? That was it. Or whatever it was, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, one stuff, right? Okay, a few of us. And then it was like, well, now let's play towards those people who are getting off work late. So let's do the 10 o'clock news. Okay, hey, let's help the people who are coming off of a night shift. So let's do 6 o'clock in the morning news. All right, so a few times more and more and more. Now what is it? You can find it 24/7, right? Constantly streaming, constantly playing. Where is that negative source, that wavelength going? It's going to our phones, it's going to towers, it's going to our TV. It's a thing that can be measured. It is a radio wave, okay? I don't even, who does not look at the news? Anyone? Yeah, I get so mad and heated up, and my wife comes in the room and says, "Whoa, what's going on with you?" I'm sitting there like, she doesn't have to look at me, and she feels it. You know, it's just like going home, like, oh, mom's not happy, I'm happy. You can feel it. You can. It unfortunately affects us in a negative way and negative energy. Okay. Yes, there are lots of other positive things to look out or look at out there. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to find them, but you can find them. They're out there. But also, social media. So, who else can say they are clean from social media? Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at that. Good
2014, February. Last time I was on Facebook. Okay. I'm clean. I'm
What's
sober.
What's a Facebook?
group. Ah, there you go.
Woo! That's what I want to hear. I told my brother that, and he's like, "Oh, I got you beat. I've never been on Facebook." I'm like, oh, well, fine. But you know,
So maybe you're not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And there's gonna be people watching here in months in the future like, I'm not good on Facebook. Fine. What about a week?
yeah,
Right? Clean it up for a week. Take a self-assessment. What's my energy, attitude, mindset like now? Go for a week, and then do another assessment and see if it made a difference.
Turn it off at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So 100%, 100%, and then yeah, I think we have a sleep workshop
Yeah.
that we should be done with that stuff anyhow.
set a timer. Hey, I'm going to be on it for 20 minutes, and then I'm done. You know, obviously you got to make sure you're
Right.
staying accountable to that, or whatever that looks like for you. Doing a 5-day fast, a 7-day fast from social media, or
So-
whatever is maybe bogging you down. You think?
Right. So if you find that you're getting your blood is boiling every time you watch the 6 o'clock news, or every time you look at Facebook, or every time you watch a news story on YouTube, or whatever it is that you're doing that you feel like it's taking you into that negative space, we have to be better, and we have to realize that it's doing that, right? And we can get in all the thoughts of who and why they're doing it. It doesn't matter. I can be in control of me, you can be in control of you, and then we could say whatever makes us that negative or that less than optimal version of ourselves, let's see if we can remove some of those barriers, right? And so finding those things and getting them out of the way, and then reassessing and remeasuring, okay, was it worth it to remove that or not, right? I've done not 7 years, I've done 1 month of a Facebook fast, and it was nice. And you know, the first couple of days you're like, nope. And then it's like retrain your body to have even a new physical habit. It's kind of weird. But that's how sometimes we can get addicted to that, or addicted to that 6 o'clock news, or addicted to watching TV to relax, or maybe we could try replacing that with a more positive habit. So that would really be kind of an action item. If you know something that's messing with your mental toxicity, what can you do that someone else, you may not have this, but that someone else could keep you accountable to that? So it's like, that for the next 30 days at 7 o'clock, my phone is going away and I'm turning it off and I'm leaving it in the kitchen. Or I'm doing 30 days without social media. Or I'm turning off the TV for the next 30 days. It's not turning on in my house, right? What is it that you maybe would help you move into that next level of really detoxing that mindset? And then of course, if we're getting rid of the bad, I think it's even more important that we're replacing it and putting in the good. And so I've talked a lot about like a war plan in previous workshops that I've had, but I love to start my day off right. As a Christian, it's like reading my devotions, and then I'm listening to a podcast, and then I'm doing my physical routine, and I'm in my sauna, and I'm drinking my smoothie, and that's what I do every single day before I get here. And it's part of who I am now. And so that way, people are like, "Are you always this happy and excited?" I'm like, well, yeah, but it's because I program myself to be that way, right? And so I program myself daily to start the day off on the right foot, because there's times that I'm grumpy and sore and this and that, but if I go and I do, then I just see that positive success afterwards, right? And so it's just, what is that routine that you can do that you know is going to lead to a positive mindset, ideally before you start other stuff in life, right? And that other stuff gets in the way.
Yeah.
Not without effort.
Do you have any issues with like Scrabble or
Scrabble?
Sudoku or crossword puzzles?
No, I mean I think it'd be great. That's brain stimulating. I think
Right, okay.
yeah. I think it'd be a great one. There's a lot of I've listened to a couple of books by the Bulletproof guy. Come on, help me out.
Dave Asprey.
Dave Asprey, and so Superhuman is one I'm listening to. Reading, I don't do as much anymore. It's mostly reading through my ears, and so he talks a lot about the NVAC training system, which I would encourage anyone. It's annoying, it's sometimes frustrating, but it's actually where you can expand. They found that you can actually increase your brain capacity at any age. So NVAC, NVACK. And so it's a brain training exercise game that's even more like it's more effective scientifically than like some of the crossword Sudoku and all that kind of thing. But it's an app on my phone that you can do, and it's just training your brain to work harder and faster.
Yeah, you guys were talking about radio waves and whatnot with all the massive amount that's going on now. Do you have any suggestions on something to like reflect that or to
So simple solutions would be you can program your Wi-Fi to turn off in the nighttime, right? So that's one.
Tinfoil hats.
like a bracelet? Yeah,
Well,
like
yeah, I
a
mean, I wear
bracelet
one of those anyhow, though, so it's
magnet
okay.
or something like that. I've seen something like where it's like a magnet. right?
Man,
You know?
I've seen those. I have not seen enough research on them yet.
Cool.
I've seen the ones that go around your neck. I've seen things that go on the back of your cell phone that say they block EMF.
Right.
I don't know how that works. So I don't know that I'm completely convinced that. I've also, like, if you follow Joe Mercola, Dr. Mercola, he might say something like you can put your phone in almost like a Faraday cage where it blocks all signals in and out, and it's like a pouch. And so that'd be something that you could do. You could also, there's people that even do that in their bedroom. And so you can actually make your bedroom that way.
I was just gonna say, I just have a lamp and a battery operated clock in my bedroom, other than my husband's phone, but mine's in the other room. So
Yeah.
you're able
I know whole families that literally on the kitchen counter. I told that wasn't gonna do this, but on the kitchen counter, boom, they have like five of their kids, 3 of the kids' names, the mom and dad, and they have charging stations. When they come in from school and work, that is where the devices go, and then that way there's no, plus it's better perhaps with parenting, but that way everyone is right there, and then we're done, right? And then that'd be really easy to put a little cage around that we could block EMF, right?
When you can set it, your phone to go off at night.
Like airplane mode,
But
type of thing.
people have learned for me that I'm not gonna answer anything before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Or 7, they just learned there's no texting.
I'm pretty sure that Loxy does that with our the company office phone.
And my own.
And so keeping your sanity, because again, if you're not starting your day off right, nothing should be more important than you doing that, because you're not going to be as good of a version of yourself.
Well,
If
to
you,
get a 5 a.m. text, it's incredible that people are even
yeah, that's crazy.
on the phone at 5 a.m.
Well, yeah, a lot of us, some East Coast friends and relatives and that type of thing. But yeah, to block some of that. Yeah. Talked about that real quick. You got to move. So one of the ways that we can naturally detox is moving. We got to get oxygen in and the bad crap out. It's one of the beefs I've had about with these masks this whole time. Just if you think about this, like, we are designed to expel the crap, right? And so for those of us who have to wear it for an extended period of time, it's just not good for you. And so we need oxygen in our body, oxygen perfusion. In fact, I was talking with a patient earlier today, really smart, eccentric lady, and we were talking about hyperbaric oxygen chambers. And it's just we know that pro athletes use them because they have access to those type of things, and it helps speed up the healing, but it's getting oxygen in, just fully oxygenating your body, right? And there's different types of exercises that you can do that, but it's a huge part of our healthy human existence, right? We need O2 in, we need to get the crap out of our system, period, right? And that's kind of the foundation where I stand. And then obviously we need sweat. So anyone else here have a infrared sauna at home? Use one?
No, I saw the use infrared light.
Yeah, and so,
Uh-huh.
with the electrical hookup, because it requires a little more juice, I think I paid less than $2,000, and I have 9 infrared panels, and I sit in there every single day. Mine gets like 150 something degrees. I go up to 145. And it's awesome. And my kids do it. We drink our smoothies in there, and it just whenever I'm feeling a little run down, I feel myself get better faster. Fantastic way. We know people have been doing this for hundreds, even thousands of years when it comes to sweating and detox. It is a huge part of the human existence. And I would highly, I know we live in Arizona, but I would highly encourage, if you have the resources to, and or find a place, a gym, like I've been doing this way before I had one, right? Where it's just, it will help you get that stuff out of there, right? So we need to sweat. I think it's a huge part of it. Some of the people that in my circles, they literally, they're getting in, they're noticing the wear and tear from what we do in our bodies and our life. That I have a guy that I know, he does it for an hour every single day. I do it for, depending on the day, 10 to 45 minutes. And so I usually, literally that is the first thing when I'm stumbling out of bed. I go, mine's in the garage, and so I go turn on the infrared sauna, because it takes a couple minutes to heat up. I usually get myself a coffee, and while it's heating up, I have a Vibe not too dissimilar to those ones. I stand in the morning, and I know I'm getting my lymphatic system going, which is part of my detox system, right? I'm increasing proprioception, which wakes up my brain, along with that delicious coffee, which also has some C8 oil in there, and coconut oil.
NCT.
Yeah. So it's just, this is our routine, so that way I can fuel myself for success, mind and body, so that way I can do this and then still enjoy my life outside of here, right? And that's plus I want to be able to be 50, 60, 70 years old and still enjoying life, right? I mean, that's what good is that? So we're kind of going in a little bit reverse order in my mind, because we talk about toxins, but what controls your detox system? It's still this. You can go, 40 days without food? Some people even longer, I think, right? I mean, Jesus did it for 40 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
How many days without water? Not that long in the desert, but, whatever, a couple days, right? How long can you guys hold your breath? Maybe 2 minutes? You can do 3?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So Wim Hof. It's a Wim Hofer, huh?
Yes.
So you can train your breath, your breathing. I was a swimmer in high school and such, and you can train yourself to hold your breath for a couple minutes. But how long can you live without nerve supply? So when are you dead? When your heart stops or when your brain stops?
Your brain stops.
Your brain stops, right? So we need that nerve supply to every muscle, every organ, every tissue in our body. We're not wireless. There's no Wi-Fi. It goes down the spinal cord. It comes out those nerves, out of your spine. It goes to your muscles. It goes to your organs. It goes to your lymphatic glands. That's how your body recognizes the toxins and it sends the appropriate. It's constantly communicating with its outside environment through the nervous system. And so if your nervous system is hampered, if it's diminished, if it's under duress, how well do you think your detox system is working? It can't. It can't, right? And so that's why start with baseline. Yeah, do what you can do your home exercises, and then sometimes we need a little bit of help getting some stress out of that nervous system, so that way I don't heal you, he doesn't heal you, your body can heal itself because it's actually communicating and realizing what's going on. In fact, my sister was the example of this. She got her first adjustment and she started having tics and started getting sick. Why? Because her brain was now actually talking to her entire body. And this is a girl who, like me, ate a lot of dollar menu stuff. And when your brain realizes, ooh, you're not so good in here, right? You start wanting to get rid of it. And so you start detoxing, and sometimes it's not fun, right? And so we've seen lots of patients do that, where first couple of weeks sometimes of their adjustments, as their brain, all of a sudden, man, they're pooping up a storm, right? They're sweating stinky, right? All this kind of stuff, and it's because this is actually communicating better and your body's working better, right? It's just how we're made. It's not magic. It's not because I'm a chiropractor. It's just, this is how the human body works, right? So again, we want to take care of this as well as the other systems of our body. And it's not a one and done, because is anything else in life a one and done? Come on, that's not how it works. We've all been on this planet longer than that, right? There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme, right? How well do those things work? Get bigger biceps in 3 days? Yeah, I don't think that works either. Again, it's we are what we repeatedly do. So next workshop that we have is going to be on heart disease. Anyone here have a family member that's been affected or themselves been affected by heart disease? I think most of us, right? Somehow last year heart disease went away, but we're going to still talk about it. And then we're going to talk about some things that we can do, right? Hopefully most of us were doing it. Many of this will be a reminder. But if you have some people that maybe were just diagnosed with blood pressure issues, maybe they've recently had a stroke or know a loved one who can't be here but also recently had a stroke, get them in here. I'll get you guys a date here in the next week or two. It's going to be next month. And then that way we can talk about it, strategize on what can we do naturally, effectively, personally to better our odds when it comes to heart disease. Cool? All right, last thing. Foxy, I think I need your help on this one. Cool. So, 7:09, dang it! I'm still 9 minutes past. So, see, there's no way we could have made this because we were planning on, and Loxy gave me a hard time, as she should, because I said that we were going to do like a workshop, we're going to make stuff. So, my 3-year-old, 7-year-old, and my wife made us natural deodorants, a body scrub, or body cream. So everyone here can pick one and choose your one, because I don't have enough for everybody of each, but choose your one, and it's just very basic, simple ingredients. And we have an ingredient list somewhere, Loxy?
What?
Is the ingredient list
Yeah, all the
somewhere?
recipes are in
Cool.
the for you.
Very simple, very easy. There's some awesome ones too. There's some awesome ones too when it comes to like shampoos and actual body washes that you make with vodka. So you like a little on here, a little for Dr. Joe, a little, just kidding. But great stuff because it acts like a natural astringent, so it's kind of like gives you like that little tingling, effervescent feel. Done that before, it's fun, a little messy, especially with a 3-year-old. So we did the best we could. Come in before you guys leave tonight, grab one of those, and then I'll try to do that when we have either a craft or something that we get together. Also, raise your hand if you're just even a shy yes if you're interested in doing like a clay workshop class from a professional clay person. So sculpting, and then she'll fire it, and then she'll also it'll be kind of like a 2-step process because we have to make it, she'll fire it, we'll glaze it, she'll fire it again, and then she'll bring it back to us.
When is that?
Don't have a date. I just want to know. I want to show of hands so I can tell our materials.
I thought it was a face mask.
Oh, no. A clay face. That'd be kind of neat, but no. Okay, so okay, cool. And depending on, it'd be inexpensive at best, maybe even at our expense. I got to see how many people, so I know how much materials I have to buy for that. But that'll also be happening probably in the next month or so. I don't have a date because it's going to be based on her schedule too.
There's not a body wash one.
It's fun and
Scratch
therapeutic.
deodorant.
You know, so.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
So who, raise your hand if you would like a body scrub, a salt scrub.
What did you say you had?
I have a
Deodorant?
scrub, a deodorant,
And cream.
and a body cream.
A body cream.
The body cream has like 6 or 7 different oils, and I think it's in there. Actually, it's here's some of them. Who wanted a body scrub?
Body scrub.
I'm thinking deodorant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll
Deodorant?
body scrub.
What did you want? Deodorant?
I don't know anything. No, for sure.
I have like no.
Body cream.
Yeah.
And this would it be skin to help
So it's, yeah. Oh yeah, the cream. Yeah, the cream is like a lotion. It's great. Super soft. The scrub though is also the team and I. We did the scrub. Yes, 2 days ago. Yesterday. So you add a little bit of water in your hands, and it kind of exfoliates the hands or that part of the body. Kind of takes the dead skin cells, and then they're super soft. So yeah. Any last minute questions before we get out of here?
Yeah,
Yes, Eric.
one thing I want to share, but bring toxins to your mind.